Hi friends, I'm Nicholas Acciani. Let's talk backstage. Today, I want to talk about the hierarchy of technical artisan roles in theater. And now I'm not talking about designers or stage managers or production managers. I'm specifically talking about the people who build the sets and costumes and all of that. So that starts with the technical director, and that is the main kind of building technical role. They oversee all of the technical departments, from budgets to procuring materials to helping with personnel. The technical director is kind of this big picture role in charge of carpentry, of electrics, of costumes. They are that top role. Now, when you get to smaller theaters, you might be a technical director who is also a shop manager and a carpenter, or the master electrician. Theater is different country to country, state to state, city to city, and every theater kind of has its own specific needs. So the technical director may double or triple as other roles in this technical artisan world. Usually they have some sort of specialty. Most of the time it's from carpentry or electrics or even sound. But the main thing about a technical director is you have to have some sort of solid knowledge about every single department, because it is going to be your job to make sure every department has what they need. And if you're talking to your stitcher or your electrician and you don't know what they're talking about, the words they're saying, you're going to kind of have a hard time as a technical director. It's a very all-around jack of all trades type of job. So underneath the technical director, you have your supervisors, and these, instead of overseeing all of it, are very specific to certain job. You have your scene shop supervisor, who is in charge of the building of a set, from painting to carpentry to welding. You have your costume shop supervisor or your wardrobe supervisor. Sometimes they're the same type of person. Wardrobe technically doesn't involve building costumes. The costume shop usually involves building them as well. That's kind of the main difference as far as I understand it. There are some other differences, and some theaters interchange the titles. Those are your two most common supervisor roles. You also have a lighting director and an audio director. They're less common to see in theaters. Usually your technical director will take care of that type of role because those departments aren't usually as big, but those roles do exist. Their primary job is to run the daily operations of their specific shop. They're maintaining equipment, making sure their staff has jobs and has work to do. They are the day-to-day, where the technical director is kind of big picture. So then underneath your supervisors, you have department leads. Now, sometimes the technical director will be those supervisors as well, and you'll go from technical director to department leads. And these include your master carpenter, your master electrician, your scenic charge artist, your cutter draper, the props master, or the audio engineer. These are kind of project-based leads. They are still doing the job. Your master carpenter is still going to be building, but they're going to be in charge of a project. Say you have 10 set pieces you have to build in the shop. The technical director and the scene shop supervisor will work with the designer to make sure it's all right and they have all the information to build it. The scene shop supervisor will assign the master carpenter, they might have a couple, to each specific project. And then that master carpenter will lead their carpenters on building that project. It's kind of a nice trickle-down effect. And this role is usually your most senior artisan in the shop, because they are still doing that hands-on work, where the supervisors and the technical director are a little more hands-off in terms of actually building. They're more scheduling and planning. The department leads are much more hands-on, and they are still building and kind of leading through that. So after department leads, your master carpenters, master electricians, you get into a specific workforce. This is definitely still a skilled art form. You need to have a skill in a specific area to be one of these roles, but it's not the higher up, higher level roles like the technical director. So in here you have your carpenters, welders, electricians, stitchers, scenic painters. Technically they're still audio engineers, but you have audio 2, audio 3. These guys tend to work on projects as assigned. So you might be stitching a pair of pants one day, and the next day you're putting together a jacket, and not necessarily working on a costume as a whole where a cutter and draper might be. You're working on the piece of the puzzle rather than the entire puzzle as a whole. So these guys are the main workforce, building these sets and costumes and hanging the lights and running the sound, painting the sets. They just report to their department leads or their supervisors or even to the technical director, depending on how that is all set up. And then finally, you get the entry-level workforce. Now, these are your shop assistants and your production assistants and your interns. Generally, this is entry-level, just getting into the field. As a shop assistant, you might be painting one day and building another day and welding the other day. You're not quite specific yet. You are still finding that focus. And again, they are a part of that main workforce, but they're going to be working working in several different areas rather than one specific concentrated art form. Now, all of that said, this is kind of a standard hierarchy from the top to the bottom where these roles will go. Like I said, every theater is different, has different needs because they're not all producing the same type of shows in the same ways. So where one theater may rent all of their sets, so they don't have carpenters. One theater might build all their sets in-house, but they rent all their costumes and they rent all the lights. So they might not have all of these departments. They might only have a technical director, or they might have a technical director and a costume shop supervisor, or any different kind of arrangement of these roles. And they might share responsibilities that I kind of delineated to different jobs in this video. But this should give you an idea of what the roles are and kind of where they land in the general hierarchy of technical artisan roles in theater. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends! These videos are made for educational purposes. Hopefully you learned something or it reinforced something you may already know. Now, this is just one way to do this, and there may be other ways to do what I've explained in this video, and I would love to hear about those ways in the comments. Just remember to be kind as you share your own experiences and expertise on the subject. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and hit that little bell button to be notified of the next video.